You get picked up by some creep at a hotel and wind up with him trying to sexually assault you. What do? You defend yourself. What happens when you defend yourself? All of a sudden you're in prison in 30 years in Mississippi. That's not right. No justice, no peace. Fuck the police. In my time as a homeless person, it's 14 years, as I was saying earlier, I have had to improvise. I'm really good at that. I've had to do nothing but improvise. I've had to educate myself while living under a bridge. Luckily, I read well. I had to turn myself to a consumer product while I was panhandling because I understood that I had about 3 seconds to catch your attention, to get you to consider giving me money or acknowledging my existence. More often than not, I just want the acknowledgement that I exist. I wound up creating an entire image, selling jokes for a quarter all over the country. There's a lot of quarters in a lot of states. But it was what I had to do to survive. I've since taken the time to be very calculated about the situations that I'm in. I try really hard to make sure that I don't wind up in a desperate situation like our dear friend Bethany did, because stories like hers are entirely too common. People who are regularly in those situations are entirely too common. I had a very good friend of mine die in February. He's been like an older brother to me for many years. He had been having chest pains for a number of days, and he was horrified about going to the hospital because he knew that he would never be able to pay his hospital bill. And when he finally did, while he was in the hospital, his heart gave out. His heart gave out because he had no way to get medical attention for a long, long time. Trying not to cry down myself, but I think that there's some light and some love and some good that has come out of all of this. I think that part of the reason why I was homeless for so long was because I had finally found a community that I could be safe in, that we would look out for each other, that we would help the other one get food. That mall across the street we found to be a haven for food all over the place. You go open up a trash can and you see all of this wasted food that people had taken 3 bites out of and just discarded, instead of bothering to carry it downstairs and hand it off to somebody who might eat it. And I would encourage all of you to, again, just take the time when you're walking down the street to nod at somebody, to smile at somebody, to acknowledge that they exist for once. Because really, that's all that they want. They just want to be seen and acknowledged as a human being, because they are. A lot of people in our society seem to think that people just choose to be homeless. And for some, it does wind up being a choice after a certain period of time. But then you have to ask, what has occurred in their life? What situation are they coming from that seems like an acceptable option? That sleeping under a bridge and eating out of the trash, crawling into cardboard dumpsters, what has been occurring in your life for that to be the only acceptable way for you to live? What has been occurring in your life for you to be in that level of desperation? What has transpired? What is their story? And I'm not asking all of you to stop and talk to every homeless person that you see and get everybody's story, but I'm asking you to take the time to acknowledge that they too are people, the same way you are, the same way that all of you want to be treated decently, and with a little common respect. I think that we've forgotten what love and respect are in our community for our neighbors, and I think that applies to more than just the homeless. I think that applies to more than queers. I think that applies to more than activists. and college kids and the working class and people who work in labor and who have union support. And I think that that applies to everybody, because at the end of the day, we really are all breathing the same air. I promise. I don't see any segregation in the air. I don't see a separation of that. I don't see the air deciding to give life to people of color or to white people or to females or to genderqueer folks. I see the air providing oxygen for everybody. I see food being produced for everybody. I have had many, many, many nights that I have just dumpster dove outside of a Safeway, wound up barbecuing on the beach with food that they wound up saying was going to go bad in 2 days. So I cooked it, and I fed myself and my community, and I continue to do so.
Thank you. Lady speaks really from the heart.
Like I said,
just
acknowledge each other.
A lot of things I've experienced.
I mean, it's really, really cliche, but cliches start from somewhere. But treat people the way that you want to be treated. Treat people like the humans that you want to be acknowledged as. And encourage people. Encourage people to seek more. When you seek for more than that, encourage folks to do that, but don't demand that. Understand that resources are limited, time and space is limited, but do what you can to help folks make more for themselves.
Oh, was there a spot, Katie, or is it a black
themselves.
screen? I just had a flick on my screen. I know we're going to be doing the bathroom tour.
Okay, it is 3 o'clock, so we do have the public bathroom tour, but for anyone who's staying, we'll still be doing an amount of speak out. We have someone else
do you guys want to do the public
if
restroom
you want to go
tour,
on the
or do you
bathroom tour,
want
Jamie,
to stay here
where's
for
your
speak out?
sign?
You guys
All right,
answer the
here we
poll.
go. So right over there by that
Bathroom tour
speaker,
or
we'll have
speak
people
out?
lining up for the bathroom tour, and we're going to go on with our next speaker.
So I'm going to just keep it sweet and brief and say thank you to the South Jungle folks for